Well, welcome to, I believe we're on episode 35 of the Dark Mushroom Media Cast.
We are on episode 35.
Doing, me and Palmer riding solo together tonight. Jose's dead in a ditch somewhere. Don't know what's up with that, but...
That can really only be, be our only hope.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's, even the people at home, Palmer.
Oh, well, maybe.
No, definitely. Especially when they find out where he's from. We're going to start with talking about what we've been playing recently, and Palmer has not been able to shut the fuck up about Metal Gear Online, so I'm going to let him ramble about that for a little while. Why don't you take it away, Palmer?
Well, I've been playing pretty much nothing but Hearthstone and Metal Gear Online, and
sickening combination.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've really got to grind my gold. My goal is to have 5K saved up in that before the expansion comes out, which I think is going to be pretty attainable. It shouldn't be too bad.
You hoarding dust too? I've been saving up dust too.
I am hoarding dust, but I crafted a Sneeds 3 weeks ago.
So before the announcement.
Yeah, that kind of drained all my dust. So
yeah, I crafted a Mal'Ganis like days before the announcement came out, and just
yeah.
But both are fun cards, so we've got that going for us, Palmer.
Absolutely. But yeah, so I'm hurting on dust right now, but it's all good. Saving up for the packs. Gonna at least buy 50 of those with in-game gold, hopefully. Before the expansion comes out, and we'll see. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Metal Gear Online as of late also. I had played it for a little while, for one of the casts, just kind of checked it out and talked about it briefly, and it was something that I knew that I was going to absolutely fall in love with, just because I don't know, it's goofy. It's not your standard multiplayer game. And so anyways, I jumped in and gave it another shot and decided that yes, this was something that I was really going to put a lot of time into. And I think yesterday it was announced that Quiet was actually going to be DLC for the multiplayer. And they haven't announced whether or not she's going to be paid or free DLC, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But... yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. It's just goofy. It's just so goofy. The other day I was playing, and some guy was not doing any objectives at all. He wasn't contributing anything to his team, but he was just running around in a chicken hat, knocking people over, and then squawking, and then running off.
Squawking into the microphone.
Right. And it was, I don't know, it's part of what makes that game so wonderful. I don't know, you just run into stupid shit like that all the time, and it's great. It's a refreshing change of pace, I think. So you've got your standard, multiplayer rules. There's one that's sort of like deathmatch. There's one that's sort of like a capture the hill type thing. And there's not like a whole lot of like variation, but it's just more about the goofy shit that people can get away with. It's not necessarily about just killing the other person. It's about, like, really just being the biggest douchebag you can before you kill or extract the enemy player. And I think there's just something really, really wonderful about that. So And the other thing that's been surprising me is I really expected it to kind of drop off in player base, and I'm sure it has to an extent, but there's still a lot of people playing it. It's never hard to find a game or anything, so I'm putting a lot of time into it and really, really enjoying the hell out of it. And Tim's been over here bothering me about other things, trying to tell me about deals on games or like chatting me up about news and stuff, and I can't be bothered when I'm playing Metal Gear. I think the other reason is because I've been plowing through Rome. I recently finished Rome, the HBO show, on Tim's recommendation, and Metal Gear Online is like the perfect game to play while you're watching something, because you really don't have to pay that much attention because nothing really fucking matters, but it's just goofy. So I think that's part of the reason that I've been playing it so much, is just because I've been watching that TV show, and it's just, I don't know, I think the stars have aligned for Metal Gear Online.
It's not just Rome, too. You've been watching, like, Deadwood and Better Call Saul and other stuff, too. You've just been going on, like, a TV marathon spree for the past few weeks.
Well, like, you know, I'm still in school and everything. I got, like, a lot of work done, and I just kind of, like, sat down one day and just, like, got a shit ton of this week's homework done, and I just, like, haven't had much else to do. So I've just been watching tons of TV and fucking playing video games. So it's perfect. And so I recently also found out, like, you know, things that you do in the single player game affect the way the multiplayer outcomes, or not like outcome happens, but like your resource rate and everything.
Right.
So I've been doing all these like things in the single player game, trying to make sure that my multiplayer profile gets as upgraded as possible. It's just, I don't know, it's silly. It's an addicting downward spiral into bleak darkness covered in chicken hats, and it's wonderful.
Sounds it.
Yeah.
Like, everything you just described sounds magical.
Yeah, absolutely magical. So, what have you been playing a lot of?
It's been a scattershot, just recent releases and stuff, and Orion, which is something we're going to hold off till Jose gets back, because he will talk about that game forever, because he loves it. But really what I've been focusing on over the weekend, and this week, was finishing my second XCOM 1 playthrough, which was with Enemy Within, and then moving on over to XCOM 2. So I've just been XCOMing the shit out of everything in life for the past week or so, and it's been pretty fun.
So, yeah, what have you enjoyed about it the most so far?
Lots of customization. XCOM 2 doesn't really do any one thing particularly or substantially better than the previous game, but it does everything. It does like little bits that they tacked on from the first game that really help. Be it customization, be it weapons, be it the way you build your base. Like, it seems improved all around. My only real gripe thus far, I'm about 15 hours in, is I'd say about 80% of the missions you play are time-based, meaning you have to get to a certain part of a map and destroy something, you have to get to a certain part of a map and extract a VIP. It's lots of time missions. I don't mind, really, sometimes, because in the first XCOM game there were time missions, but I mean, they are fucking most missions you play will be timed in XCOM 2, and that's
the very first one starts off with like a timed mission thing. You've got like 9 turns to get that. I can't even remember what the hell it is. You have to extract a core out of something.
Yeah.
You've only got like 9 turns to get it accomplished, and
everyone dies.
yeah, or you just like fail the mission or whatever. But yeah, like the first time I played through it, I couldn't figure out how to extract the core. Like I had like my whole squad near it, and I'm just like clicking on this thing and just like trying to fucking figure out how to extract it, because no prompts came up. And so like I was like looking through everything, and I just couldn't fucking figure it out, and my entire squad died. And I was just like, you know what? I really want to play this game, but this is
not like this. Not like this.
I need Metal Gear in my life right now.
Yeah, it's definitely something you're gonna want to, when you pick it up and play it. It's something like, all right, I'm gonna be playing this on and off for the next month or so, because it's kind of hard to play XCOM 2, get to a certain point, and then drop it for a month or two and come back to it, because you're just kind of lost. You don't know what technologies you've advanced and stuff. But yeah, that's my only real gripe. The optimization isn't very good either. My rig's starting to fall off as the years tick on, but it's still halfway decent, and it's just not running this game particularly well. Actually, it runs the combat and like the actual game pretty well, but like the overview when you're in your base, the loading screens and stuff, my rig just fucking, it struggles.
Yeah, dude. Like I had some problems with the loading screens too, and mine's significantly more powerful than yours.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Palmer. Don't need to point things out.
So what I'm saying is, it's not just you. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of
it's across the spectrum. Everyone's bitching about that.
Well, everybody also seems to be bitching about a lot of glitches. Have you run into many problems?
No, I haven't been keeping up on the XCOM Reddits or anything. But you telling me about the glitches was the first time I was really hearing about them. Granted, like I said, I haven't really looked into it, but most of the complaints I've been hearing about are optimization. I occasionally will run into the like you clip through a wall weird, or like you don't actually break glass when you jump through the glass. Little weird graphical glitches like that. But as far as like game breaking glitches go, I had one in 15 hours thus far, where it flat out broke the game. But luckily, the game saves every other. I think a muton ran at me and just like killed one of my guys so fucking hard it just crashed the fucking game. Like it just completely liquefied you or Jose or something, and just the game couldn't handle it.
Wonderful.
But out of 15 hours, one crash like that, it's not terrible. But yeah, apparently some people are complaining on that front as well.
Well, the other thing that I think is really funny is that everybody keeps complaining about missing these 95% chance shots.
Yeah, that happens from time to
time. So how far are you in that?
I purposely put off the first major thing you're supposed to do and kind of inadvertently skipped over it and started doing major things you're supposed to do after it. Because in my mind, apparently, this one particular level, it's just fucking Highlanders coming at me, so I want plasma weapons and the highest tier of armor and all this bullshit. But the way the game works is there's a doom clock, and as the game progresses, if you don't, take actions to prevent the clock from going further, you run out of time, and the world just drowns in piss, apparently. I don't know what actually happens. But, so there's a balancing act you have to do to, like, I want to keep leveling my guys up, but I don't want this doom clock to get at 10 squares or whatever the highest thing is. So you have to constantly knock out bullshit objectives. But no, I like the pace. I like the pace of that in the game itself. I just wish there weren't as many time missions. I'd like to be able to take my time. But the way that it's also set up with concealment and the way missions work when you start now, it's not like the first one where you basically kind of crawled your way towards the enemy, and then when they saw you and they had time to get in position, you can actually ambush them in this game, which is a huge, big thing that I really enjoy and is critical to like winning the game. Setting up ambushes.
Yeah, I noticed they really emphasized that in the first couple of missions.
Yeah, they wanted you to know, like, hey, look, we improved on this. Please look at this, please.
Yeah. It's. I definitely am going to play it. I loved the first one. It's just like I got it because I wanted to, and I really thought it was going to be something that I was going to just like jump 100% of the way into, and I don't know. It just hasn't been hitting the spot for me lately. I'm sure it will. And
yeah, eventually you'll find that stride when you'll be like, oh my god, this is it. This is my life now.
And when it does, it's going to bite, and I'm going to be playing that for probably about a month.
That's been my exact experience with Darkest Dungeon. Like, oh my god, I love this game, but I'm not really feeling it right now. I've got other tactical games I can play, and maybe when I'm done with XCOM or months from now, I'm going to revisit it and be like, oh my god, this game is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Darkest Dungeon. I finally got around to watching some Let's Plays of Darkest Dungeon, and I didn't like get too far because I didn't want to like spoil it. But I watched like some of the basic parts and the opening stuff, and I gotta say that game looks awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome looking game. It's fun. It's just painful but fun.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll pick it up at some point. But man, like looking forward at the calendar of stuff that is right around the corner of coming out, dude. Dark Souls 3 is it's right there.
Yeah.
And then after that is Uncharted 4, which is like I want to say like later that month. So like Dark Souls 3 gets released, and then I think Uncharted 4 is like right after.
Is that April or May?
No, that's March.
Oh, it's March. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now the only thing, Division is the only thing on my radar for March, and the Eternal Crusade.
Oh Jesus, Division's releasing in March too. Yeah.
That space RTS for Warhammer's coming out in March too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The beta for the Division really is going to make it or break it for me. It's going to determine 100% whether or not that's something I get like day one. Just because there's going to be already too much other stuff that I want from that month, and it's already so packed. And Dark Souls is obviously going to take precedence for me.
That's actually the first game they announced with that announcement. They said they're making Dark Souls 1 backwards compatible. which was a game
Oh
they
yeah,
gave away
yeah.
with gold for like a year or two ago. So that'll be nice to. I'll actually sit down and play through that because I haven't actually sat down and played through that. I've only played it for 20 or 30 minutes.
Have you? Oh, okay. Yeah, and it was only one that you played for 23rd?
And
Yeah,
I didn't want to
it's
get it on PC just because I was too lazy to fuck with getting the mods to work out right. I've just historically that's always a pain in the dick for me. But now that I know it's getting backwards compatibility and I already have it from Games for Gold, I will definitely play that.
Yeah,
It'll be great.
It definitely is a game you should. I feel like everybody needs to experience one game in that series. And it always seems to me to be like for that series, it's like really unique in the sense that like people, the game that they jump in with is the one that they like end up enjoying the most. I think out of that series, like I really like Dark Souls 1 the most out of that series, but like a lot of people like 2, like Corbin loves 2, and it's because it's the first one that they've played.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting. It's one of those things where if you jump into a later one, you're really not missing too much. Like they're all fantastic games, but it'd be interesting to see whether or not you want to play another one after that, and B, what if you do play another one, what your favorite one it will end up being.
You know me, Palmer. I'm a sick fuck. I'll end up liking it and then playing the next one and the next one probably. So.
Yeah, that's. I don't see like the thing. I feel like it's one of those games you've really got to have the patience for, I guess, because you will run into a point where all you're doing is dying. You're not getting anything accomplished, and then it's like the Dota strategy of just
I was about to say it sounds like Dota.
Yeah, just throwing
die
your bodies
until you
at
eventually
them.
become good, or just kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things where all of a sudden you'll throw your body at them and you'll win that time, and then you'll die like 2 steps later because some stupid trap will fucking kill you.
Right.
And so you have to take that thing down again, but you do it with more confidence. So it's one of those games like I feel like you'd really enjoy it if you played it at a point in time where there was nothing else really on the horizon that like caught your interest, and you actually like sat down and like dedicated yourself to it. Because that's what I had to do for the first one. Because the first, I did it with Demon Souls, and Demon Souls, I hated that game. I really hated that game when I first played it, and then I went back and played it like a few months later, and that's when like I fell in love with the series and the style of it. So it's one of those, I don't know. It'll be interesting when you finally do get around to playing it. I'm actually like really interested. You should live stream that actually.
Oh, if I do it on the Xbox, it'll be very easy to live stream, so maybe I will.
Yeah, you should live stream that. That would be pretty funny. You'd at least get a viewer out of me. I'd watch you play it.
I remember, because you've been talking Dark Souls up for years. A year or two ago, a friend of mine asked me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, my friend Palmer says it's the shit. Like, you'll fucking, it'll make you want to kill yourself, but it'll be worth it. And I sent you the clip of him, like, just getting one shot by something and some boss or something, and just the look, the dead look on his face and the drop draw, it was made that recommendation worth it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That's how it is, though. Like that look that's the point that where you can see the person's soul just get crushed, and then you have nothing. You have nowhere to go but up because you've reached the worst point you can in this game. You'll run into that eventually when you play it. If you actually get into it, it will hit you, and that's going to be the moment that I live for if I fucking watch your stream.
And that's supposed to be coming out with the release of the third one, I believe. So next month, I guess.
Yeah,
That is cool. But yeah, March. Fuck, I forgot about Eternal Crusade until or not Eternal Crusade. Jesus, fucking Battlefleet Gothic. Until you brought up these games coming out in March. That's also coming out in March. So
it's already what do you call it? I'm blanking out right now.
pre-orderable.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, what they're doing is it's coming out in March. They're doing a beta. Probably
No, early access. That's what I mean. It's already in early access.
No, that's
isn't it?
Eternal Crusade. That's
Okay,
the
right.
Space Marine clone shitfest we've talked about previously. Eternal Crusade is or I'm sorry, fuck, I'm getting all mixed up now. Battlefleet Gothic is the RTS space game that's coming out.
Oh, right. Okay. There's just so many fucking Warhammer games coming out.
Yes, and that's not a bad thing. I'm okay. I'm okay with all of this. But yeah, a lot of stuff.
I'm okay with it when they're good.
Even when they're bad, I'm okay with it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a
I
sick
tried Space
fuck.
Hulk and I regret it. I want that. I want that.
Well, actually, that depends on which one you played. Because the first Space Hulk was like a very faithful, absolute translation of the board game into a computer game. And then after they did that, they went, "That's a terrible idea. We can't have a board game translate into a computer game this hard with Space Hulk because it's the Dark Souls, if you will, of board games. You rarely win it." And then the second one they did was more computer game oriented, but a lot of people felt that they kind of half-assed that too, and yeah. But no, Vermintide, Battlefleet Gothic looks good. Eternal Crusade, if it gets optimized, could be awesome. Like, there's a lot of good 40K games coming out, whereas in the past couple years, it's just been mobile ports and shit like that hasn't been very good.
To totally derail the topic, speaking of early access shit, have you played any Star Citizen lately?
I updated it like the other day because I realized we haven't done a Star Citizen cast in like 2 months at this point. But
It's been that long.
yeah, what happened was the big like, holy shit, this game is actually happening. This is when I was going to show everyone, holy shit, look at Star. Like, I remember I was specifically waiting for 2.0 to come out. To be like, Palmer, look at Star Citizen, it's amazing. And then when 2.0 came out, like, it didn't have a party system. A lot of people think they released it too early because they wanted to get it out before the year ended, and it had a lot of bugs. It had weird glitches. It had horrible optimization issues in certain parts. Like, it just was not ready to come out, and they fucking put it out. And I think now they're on 2.1 or 2. I think they're working on 2.2 in the PTU, like the alpha. But there's no party system. Like, why would you put a fucking party system in the game and then have a free fly week so I can get assholes like this guy to be like, hey, come look at Star Citizen, and they'll be like, oh my god, look at Star Citizen, and they'll actually fucking back it. But funny that you bring it up. As of a couple days ago, it's split up, the package. Like, you used to be able to get Star Citizen in one package, and you still can, but it was the cheapest you could get. It was like $40-$30, and now it's at the $60 price point, which is what it's slated to be at release, I think. Or I think the Star Citizens is slated to be at release.
So you have to pay full price for the game now to get
the way it works
before it's out?
It's actually two games. It's Star Citizen, which is the MMO, like the multiplayer component, and then instead of expansions, they're going to expand on Star Citizen, but instead of doing like expansions, like say WoW, they're going to be doing single-player campaigns that are going to be intertwined with the story of the persistent universe. So the package would be Star Citizen and then Squadron 42, which is the first single-player game. That's how they've been packaged. Sorry, that's how they've been packaged thus far up to this point. But as of a couple days ago, it's split up. I think it's like you can still pick up a Star Citizen for $45, and then add onto it. It's like you add $15 onto your shit, so it's not a huge deal. But it's getting to the point now where they're splitting them up, and things should hopefully be goddamn happening. Because just put it in a party system. How hard is that? You put it in a party system, you get a bunch of people, streamers, YouTubers, everyone to go on it and play it and say, look how fun this game is with friends. Look at this amazing experience we're having. Don't you want part of this? Come on, guys. But no fucking party system. You can play with friends, but the way you have to do it right now is such a fucking pain in the ass, and it doesn't work most of the time. It's awful. I don't know who the fuck... Chris Roberts, get off the cocaine and fucking put a party system in your game, and then get back on the cocaine, because we like you like that. It's awesome. It's fun.
All right. Fair enough.
That's why no Star Citizen for a while.
Well, I mean,
because our Star Citizen
it's going to take
cast,
another 15 years for that game to come out, Tim, if it does at all, ever.
Yeah. God, it's funny when people complain about that, but we're not even gonna get into the development cycle and all that shit. It'll consume the rest of the cast. But when they eventually put a party system in, that is when we will probably start doing fucking Star Citizen content on our shitting channel again, because it's annoying. I don't know, but yeah, that's what's going on with Star Citizen, Palmer.
Okay,
but let's talk about stuff that doesn't drive me insane.
All right.
Actually, just two quick little tidbits I have. The Shadowrun guys, they're the people that do the Harebrained Scheme. That's the developer. People that do the Shadowrun games. been known to put out a Game of the Year add-on edition for free or whatever. Been known to update their games as time goes on and add more content and kind of round them out nicely. And they have done that with Hong Kong. It just got the the enhanced, or I'm sorry, extended edition released. Adds 6 hours of bonus campaign stuff. It's free for all players. Just not a whole lot of stuff, but I think a couple new characters, a couple new scenarios, new missions or whatever. Very cool. Very happy with that. Give me an excuse to play through that game again, because those Harebrained Scheme guys, when they do Shadowrun games, they do them very well.
All right. Well.
And something I
still haven't played through the first one of those.
You really should. Like it's not like they're not really connected. They kind of loosely are, but it's not like you have to play one before you play the other. But I definitely think all of them are worth playing through in order because they just get better as time goes on. I think the first one still stands on its own, if you will.
All right.
But something I was fucking around with earlier today. We talked about Hatred on the cast before. It was a little indie game that came out, I guess about last June, so around last summer, and caught a lot of grief because you just run around and viciously murder people, and that's the entire game. It's been dubbed a spiritual successor to Postal 1, which was all pretty much the exact same game, but, you know, it came out in the 90s and it looked a lot worse. But Hatred was kind of fun to play. It had a decent physics engine. It offered fun game. It actually offered, like, tactical and fun gameplay, but you're just running around killing people, spouting out shitty one-liners the entire time. So, you know, it gets taxing after a while, I suppose. I only played it for a couple hours, but they added mod support around Valentine's Day and released it with a Valentine's Day mod, which turns your black trench coat into a purple one, turns your dark hair into blonde, and all of the blood turns into hearts, all the fire turns into fiery hearts. It's sickening and hilarious, and like I recommend if for some reason you own Hatred like me or Palmer, you need to download this mod and play it because it is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it does look like just pure comedy gold.
Just the fact that that's awesome. They had mod support, and they're like, oh, by the way, here's this Valentine's Day mod that turns all this horrible violence into fluffy hearts, and everything's just weird. It's great. I just had to bring that up. Fucked around with that for 20 minutes today. Probably going to fuck around with it a little bit more, because it is funsies.
Yeah, it just looked like a blast.
Actually, I'll just breeze through all this shit. Make War Not Love, an event heralded by Sega, Creative Assembly, and now Relic Entertainment has returned. This is the third time they've done it. They do it around Valentine's Day, where basically, for years it was a random Total War game versus Company of Heroes. And whether they track progress by body counts, matches won, there's different ways they've tracked it throughout the few years, and different ways they're doing it for different games this year. Last year... I want to say last year Company of Heroes won. I actually took part in it. It was cool, and they give you stupid little content in game. This year, Relic has come into the mix with Dawn of War. So it's Dawn of War, Total War Attila, and Company of Heroes 2. These three games you can play throughout this. It started on Sunday, and it's going throughout the entire week. With Dawn of War, I think with most of them, it's matches completed. It's matches completed for a couple of them, and it's campaign games, one for Total War, or there's some little weird rules that are going on with the Total War game, but I don't actually own Attila, so I'm not fucking around with it. I'm just messing around with the Dawn of War and Company of Heroes 2.
Right.
But, in previous years, what they've done is they just give away in-game content to whoever wins, which, it's cool. It gets people playing your games, you're giving away free content, you see people talking about your game. Game developers need to do shit like this, and I'm glad they're doing it. This year, however, they're doing it in 3 48-hour periods, and at the end of each period, they're actually giving away games on Steam that you can you get on Steam. You click a button, and they're on your account. And some of them are not completely god-awful.
The first round of them, all of them are pretty fucking sweet to get for free.
Yeah, I don't even know, hell yeah, but Golden Axe, fucking amazing classic. Jet Set Radio, at this point, it's a classic, and I feel like an old fuck, but 2 great games.
Yeah, no, Hell Yeah, you should play Hell Yeah, dude. Hell Yeah is really good. Yeah, that game is really good.
Well, they gave away all the DLC with it too, so I can feel snooty and play it now. So I've got that going for me.
Yeah, no, like all 3 of those are winners. Honestly, when was the last time you played Golden Axe?
Actually, recently, because it was one of the first backwards compatible games on the Xbox One.
Oh, really?
But before that, not until I played it on the not until I had played on 360, probably years ago, years and years ago.
Yeah, man, like I would from my personal standpoint, I would say Golden Axe is the weakest out of the three. But fucking
I will fucking stab you, Palmer.
Hell yeah is really good, dude. It's really good. You should absolutely not ignore that one.
Well, I actually apparently had it, but I didn't have the DLC, so now I have I have a snooty excuse to hop on.
Yeah, well, do it.
But this current round is or the next round of winners is Streets of Rage 2, which is another old classic. Condemned, again, kind of a classic at this point, but a solid game. And Binary Domain, which is just a goofy, over-the-top Japanese-ness robot shooting game.
Yeah, I've noticed that everybody seems to be the most excited about Binary Domain. I've never played it, so I'm actually like with all the hype that I've been reading for it online. I'm really excited to check it out finally.
It's actually it's perfect for you. It's a stupid over-the-top game, and you can probably run through it in like 6 hours. So it's not something you'll be slaving away trying to complete. It's something you can get in, have a good time, and get the fuck out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the one that I'm most excited about is Condemned. I have not played it since. That was like a launch game, pretty much.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. It came out now.
Yeah, I have not played it since the 360 probably came out. I guess it came out like a few months afterwards. But I fucking loved Condemned. I thought Condemned was just absolutely fantastic.
I only messed around with the second one, so I'm looking forward to going back and kind of playing through the first on Steam.
Yeah, I haven't touched the second one. Did they even release it on Steam?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll have to look into that. Might be one of those things where if there's the next time there's a sale, I might see if I can snipe it if it's on Steam.
Swiping or swiping.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last round of winners is Gunstar Heroes, another classic. Renegade Ops, which top-down car game, looks kind of interesting. Viking, which was a Total War game that completely wasn't Total War. It was basically you run around and it was like Dynasty Warriors, but a real westernized version. You just run around and slaughter various monsters and creatures. So,
all right.
But out of all three of the games, or all three of the round prizes, like there's a halfway decent game in like all of them.
Yeah.
And someone even Are You a Good Game? Actually, I would say there's a good game in every single one of those. So yeah.
I mean, that's awesome of them for doing that. I dare anybody to try to find a fault in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to play. And the great thing is you don't have to take part in these events. Like, you can just fucking get on the game. Yeah, you just go on and get the games. And for whoever wins all the rounds, like whoever owns the game just gets the content for free. You didn't have to participate in it. So. Right.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on the fact that more developers should do stuff like that.
It gets people playing your games and people talking about it, and it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Total War Attila came out last year, but for the most part, like, it's not like these games just came out and they have hundreds or actually at least 1,000 people playing it at any given time. They have communities, but this swells them up for a little bit, and it's healthy. It's a good thing to do.
It's good.
But yeah, and I've been playing Company of Heroes and Dawn of War, and I made Jose download Company of Heroes and play his Japanese team. We fought the American dogs. It was fantastic. We'll do it again.
All right.
But one last thing I want to talk about, and then we can move on to all your fantastic notes, Palmer, is the Fallout 4 DLC has been revealed, I guess. Yeah. And I think we're both in the agreement. We're both pretty happy with all of it.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that they've ultimately decided to raise the season pass price. But I also think that it's awesome for anybody that's already picked it up that they're just going to get all this extra content for free.
We agree on that.
Yeah, and honestly, like, everything that they're releasing seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the first one that's coming out, especially.
Yeah, what is it, Automatron?
Yeah, Automatron.
And Far Harbor are probably the ones that are going to grab my attention the most.
Yeah, the Wasteland Workshop is like the what was it in Skyrim? Fucking where you could adopt kids or stuff. I forget what the DLC was called, but it's like the $5 equivalent of that.
It wasn't Dawnguard.
Hearthfire? Was it Hearthfire?
Yeah, something like that.
Hearthfire, yeah.
Yes, that seems to be like what it's going to be the equivalent of in this. So yeah, I mean the customization, the robot customization stuff.
Yeah,
That's going to
I'm looking forward to building a wasteland friend to take around with me.
Building a death arena. Like that sounds awesome.
Deathclaw Death Arena.
Yeah, like that just sounds really really great. So looking forward to that. And yeah, Far Harbor. They're saying that's the biggest DLC that they've ever released.
It looks, just from the one screenshot they have, I'm very, very intrigued with it.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like a Point Lookout turned up like a million.
Yeah, pretty much.
With a little bit of Cthulhu thrown in from all the fog.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, like, it's oh, man, like, just the fact that it's going to be so big and that they're really, like, willing to add this much kind of, this kind of stuff. It's like we're getting more dedicated stuff from Bethesda, and I really have to praise them for that. You know, I know a lot of people like hated on a few aspects of Fallout 4, but ultimately it's a good game.
It is a good game. Anyone who thinks Fallout 4 is a bad game is just a fucking asshole. That's
exactly.
our official statement.
But I mean, I don't know. Good on Bethesda for doing it, and good on them for not forcing people who already bought the season pass to pay more. That's something, you know, like they did. Learn from this.
Could you imagine the shit show, though?
No, learn from this. Look at fucking Gearbox, Ben. Like, they had all this DLC for the fucking season pass holders, and then everything else that came out afterwards was
not including all the skins and fucking shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, learn from this 2K. I am looking forward to fucking Borderlands 3. Please don't fuck it up.
They're trying to fuck it up as much as possible. 2K.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see.
I like the diversity in this, because there's like your $10 add-on, which you would expect from like Fallout 3 or New Vegas.
Right.
There's your cheap $5 add-on, which, like I said, Hearthfire, little add-on. And then there's the big, holy shit, Far Harbor, which is being priced at $25, which is something like, I guess, a big Skyrim add-on or something like that. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of interesting to see, like, it's like a carbon strip of fucking a history, if you will, of Bethesda DLC launching in this game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of interesting.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. It looks awesome.
But the first bit comes out in March, and then the smaller DLC comes out in April, and then May is Far Harbor, the big one.
So Automatron comes out in March.
Automatron, yes, comes out in March.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna have a reason to jump back on Fallout.
Yeah, I kind of actually want to finish my first playthrough before any of the stuff comes out, so...
You gotta go to fucking Diamond City eventually.
I can't do it, Palmer. Isaac has to be the one to go to Diamond City first, because he's at like 80 hours, and he hasn't gone to Diamond City. And just, I can't let him have that over me, Palmer. I won't.
At some point, that's the only thing that will progress the game.
I'll find a mod. I'll find a mod that keeps me from going to Diamond City.
No, you'll just roll another character and do everything all over again except going to Diamond City. Yeah, I love it. You haven't even finished your first playthrough, and I'm God, I don't know, 13 hours into my second, probably. Just wiping out an entirely different faction, so... It'll be fun. I'll probably end up just picking up where I left off in my second playthrough to play Automatron. Just because I don't know. I don't really want to play my first character again. But either way, I'm excited. It'll be fucking awesome, I'm sure.
Yeah. But anything you want to tackle?
Yeah.
Take on? I know you had some stuff you wanted to bring up.
Well, I wanted to talk about Titanfall 2. Titanfall was a game that appealed to me for about 10 hours, and then I decided that I was never really going to be interested in it ever again after that.
I fucking love Titanfall, and I still play. I actually started playing it again on Xbox One just to get the achievements. Like, I really loved that. I dug that game, and I'm really looking forward to the second one, whenever the fuck.
Yeah. I know you really liked it. It's just like, I don't know, the multiplayer didn't really hold my interest as much.
Oh yeah,
like,
everyone got bored of it after a certain amount of time, so I completely understand it. But just there's something about fucking preparing for Titanfall and jumping into battle like that, and just wall running done awesome, right. Yeah. Like, yeah, it was a really fun game.
But it looks like in Titanfall 2 there's going to be some single-player campaign stuff, and it's going to be grounded, dirty, human, and real. That is a direct quote from the lead writer, Jesse Stern.
So are we not preparing for Kittenfall anymore? Is that what you're telling me, Palmer? It's just all ground battles all day, every day?
I'm afraid what that means is Call of Duty.
I mean, grounded, dirty, and real. I wouldn't use any of those words to describe Call of Duty.
Well...
But I guess in a sense you could say that people describing Call of Duty would describe it that way. Yeah, or people that want you to be interested in it, so...
Yeah.
And you have to keep in mind, Respawn were the people that pretty much behind the first Modern Warfare.
Yeah, no, I get that, but like,
so
I just
the Call of Duty-ness tying
Titanfall, like it's one of those games that it was developed by the same developers as Call of Duty, but it didn't feel like a Call of Duty game.
Right.
It felt like something different, and I hope that they keep that distinction there in terms of like how the world's portrayed and stuff.
Ironically, the last Call of Duty game I played felt like Titanfall.
Well,
Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, that's true.
Except, the wall running wasn't nearly as well done. Shit game, Palmer.
That was right.
Shit game.
That was right. We did not see eye to eye on that one.
Dead shit game, Palmer.
Yeah, it was certainly better than fucking Black Ops 3.
I haven't even messed around with that.
Yeah, Black Ops 3 was awful.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Trash game. As soon as I saw Detective Stabler on my screen, I just fucking vomited in my mouth a little bit.
You need those dead shark eyes to stay in the Call of Duty story, don't you, Paul?
And then fucking Marshawn Lynch. Oh my god. All right. Just whatever. Anyways. Titanfall 2, single player. That's what we were talking about.
Right.
That's really all that needed to get said.
Awesome news. Awesome news.
Crash Bandicoot. It looks like it's coming back. NECA Toys director Randy Falk said that they're doing a new... Well, I guess they're getting ready to do a line of Crash Bandicoot toys, and they may have leaked the information that Crash Bandicoot is actually getting a full-on reboot. Anyways, there's a bunch of stuff that like Sony's looking at doing, and then Sony tweeted out a photo of Crash Bandicoot like with an updated animated style and all this other stuff. So it looks like Crash Bandicoot's actually getting a reboot.
How did he look though? Like, what does Crash Bandicoot look like now? Is he acceptable?
I mean, pretty much. He looks a little more cartoony. He's got tribal tattoos now.
Okay.
Because that was
Crash Bandicoot joined a tribe.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Crash Bandicoot is the guy from Far Cry 3. That's what he became.
That's the big twist, yeah.
Yeah. What a twist. I wasn't really a huge fan of the Crash Bandicoot platforming games. So what I was a huge fan of was Crash Team Racing. And we're gonna real talk here for a second, because I personally believe, and this is going to catch a lot of flack.
I swear, if you say what I think you're going to say, I'm going to just throw my microphone at you.
I personally believe that Crash Team Racing is infinitely better than Mario Kart.
Actually, I've never played Crash Team Racing, so I can't give a proper... I mean, you're stupid as fuck. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Crash Team Racing is flawless in every way.
That was a PlayStation 2 game, right?
No, PlayStation
1. Okay, so it did come out around the same time as Mario Kart. Or at least Mario Kart 64, which is the only true Mario Kart we ever acknowledge.
And there were so many people that disagreed with me, but I got one of those like boomerang adapters for my PS1, so 4 people could play on the same one. Because
I remember those things.
Yeah. They only had the 2 controller ports.
Yeah.
So I got one of those boomerang things, and I would be like, no, come over, we'll play some Crash Team Racing, and you will see that it's better than Mario Kart. And people would come over, and never once did any of them admit that it was better than Mario Kart, but all of them really fucking enjoyed that game, like way more than I think that they wanted to admit and were willing to admit.
They just begrudgingly wouldn't tell you that they were having a good time.
Well, they'd come over all the time. People would just be like, let's play Crash Team Racing, and I'd be like, all right, let's do it. I don't know, that game was fucking great. So... my hope from this whole reboot is not that we'll see another Crash Bandicoot platforming game, but that we'll see another Crash Team Racing game. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
It's a
Sony, hear my cries.
I want to say that's a long shot, but not really. If they do another Crash Bandicoot and it's successful, there's a good chance they will do another one of those.
Oh, absolutely.
Dumb Mario Kart clones.
I just I cannot fucking wait. Oh man, I just like please don't make it like Big Planet or whatever the fuck the kart racing Little Big Planet game. That was genuinely awful piece of trash. So do not tread down those waters again, Sony.
That'd be amazing if that game came out and that was the Dota killer for you. That was the thing that made you uninstall Dota and never play it again. Was fucking,
never touch it again.
Yeah, just crash team.
Well, I mean, you've got to give props to fucking Metal Gear Solid. As much time as that's been pulling me away from Dota.
That's true.
So I mean, you know, there is hope. There is hope that one day. It's just like I don't know. It's like I get this tingling sensation in my body that just starts going off. That's just like you haven't had any verbal abuse today. You have to go play.
You have to play Dota. You haven't even logged on in at least a week. You're playing at least 3 games in a row, and you're not winning any of them.
And you're not going to win a single one. And each one is just going to be progressively worse. No, it's funny because like I've played like 4 games I think in the last month, and 3 of those have been with Corbin and Sam. And those 3 games I lost, and the one game that I played ranked solo in, I won. So I'm seeing some weak links, you know.
I feel like you've been pointing out these weak links for at least 2 years now, Palmer.
Well, god damn it. There's really just I think that's what it is. It's just Dota is gonna turn into that game for me that like when I need my soul crushed, it's a journey that I must take alone.
Have to set your Steam profile to offline.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna just like change it to just like being away.
Is Palmer playing Dota? No, he's away.
Yeah.
Or no, he's on snooze. He's not at his
He's
computer.
on snooze. He's clearly not on Dota.
You can be a dick and just set it to busy, and then just never acknowledge them when they message you.
Yeah, that would be
That's what I do when I'm playing non-Steam games. I'm playing Star Citizen. I just set my shit to busy, and I just completely ignore everything.
But yeah, Crash Team Racing. Well, Crash Bandicoot really. But,
Crash Bandicoot, hopefully to Crash Team Racing.
Yeah.
The other
interesting thing is, and I really don't know why I want to talk about this so bad. I don't know. It's a nail in the coffin, I think, to Xbox One users. But Quantum Break is getting a PC version. It's been confirmed, and yeah, it looks like it's gonna be one of the first that's actually gonna come out running on DirectX 12, which is interesting in and of itself. But the fact that a lot of people were like kind of like saying, "Well, Quantum Break is the reason that I have an Xbox One." That is no longer
I know a couple
the case.
of them, and yeah, that is no longer a thing for them to cling on to.
The thing for me is just I really don't give a shit about this game.
I know nothing about it. I don't really give a shit about it. So
yeah. Good on the people that it's good for the people that actually do care about this game, though. I guess so.
I just hope it's not another Division scenario where I go into it like, oh, this game's gonna suck, and then oh man, it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch upon is the fact that Street Fighter V has released, and it is apparently just like a fraction of a game. There have been a lot. It's not just been a couple of reviewers saying this. There have been a lot of people that have been reviewing this game that are saying this. Apparently, there is no like arcade mode. There is no like just like a versus the CPU mode. It's either like training, story mode, or online multiplayer, which seems to be just fine for people that like are seasoned Street Fighter veterans. But for people like me that
just anyone, if you just want to pop on and play a CPU, even just to play a match to warm up to play multiplayer,
yeah, exactly,
it's a fighting game.
And it's so bizarre to me. Now Capcom is coming out and saying like, this will get patched in later, like it'll all be free, but it just doesn't make any sense to me that you'd release literally like one of the most anticipated fighting game, I think, and it would only be a shell of what it should be. Like it's missing components that should just be a part of any fighting game.
People just expect it. Like it's not even a thought in their head. Like, oh, I hope they
include this. For fuck's sake, in primal fucking rage, you could play the fucking computer.
That's true.
You know, like shitty goddamn fighting games have these features and this doesn't, which is interesting to me. I don't know. I've also been hearing a lot of server issues, but that's to be expected. I think when a game like this launches for the first, I don't know, probably like couple of weeks.
It's just not a good time to be a fight game fan if you're a PC gamer. This is, coming off the heels of Mortal Kombat disastrous launch, and now the fact that they're just dropping support for it and continuing support for the console version. Like, it is just not a good time to be a fighting game fanatic if you're a PC gamer, I think.
Yeah, I gotta say I agree. I don't know why that's. I guess it's just because everybody who plays them on consoles. It's just really the way that it works, I guess. I don't know. It's just like I feel like with the fact that most tournament players who like people who really play this game play with a gamepad, like shouldn't be this much of a problem to play it on PC. But it is, apparently. So I feel like if Capcom can't get it right, then how long is it going to fucking take? It's certainly not going to be Mortal Kombat.
No. Skullgirls, Palmer. That'll be the
Skullgirls 2.
Yeah, that'll be the game that reunites the shitters on the PC gaming.
Yeah. It'll come out with its extra jiggly physics and then
one would hope
flawless multiplayer. We'll keep it afloat, I guess. I don't know.
Skullgirls, you can battle a computer, Palmer. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, dude. $15.
That game had a budget of like $30 and it can do it, Palmer.
Yeah. Yep. What's that tell you about the state of the games industry these days? I don't know. And then the last thing, Tim, you're totally going to punch me in the face for saying this, but Cookie Clicker version 2 has come out. Super excited for this.
No one. It's why. You know what? That's the thing. Everyone gives a shit about this, Palmer, but I can't fathom why.
It's super addictive. That's why everybody gives a shit about it.
I mean, why would you play Cookie Clicker when you could play Sakura Clicker, Palmer? That's what I'm asking.
Well, because one is appropriate to play anywhere.
Yeah, Sakura Clicker. Walk into like a fat people clinic with Cookie Clicker going, they will throw you out, Palmer. I don't know what a fat person clinic is, but I assume it exists somewhere in America. And if you play Cookie Clicker in it, they will throw you out.
Fat camp.
Yeah, it's fat camps. Banned from fat camps, Cookie Clicker, not Sakura Clicker.
Well, that's it for me. That's it on my end.
One quick little tidbit that I forgot to mention is the fact that H1Z1 is splitting into 2 games.
Oh yeah.
And it's not looking good. We've streamed H1Z1 plenty on this cast. Initially, it's not that it wasn't a bad game. It had a lot of promise.
It just got like taken over by hackers.
That was the initial problem. Like that eventually kind of faded, and then it became apparent that they just didn't care about H1Z1 as a survival game anymore. All they wanted to do was to develop the Battle Royale, because that's where they had tournaments. They had, like professional casters playing it, and they had big tournaments with prize money and shit. That's where all their efforts went to. And now they're splitting it up into 2 games. They're having the Battle Royale game and the H1Z1 Just Survive, which is the survival game. The game it was fucking supposed to be.
Right.
And they're claiming we're divvying up the development equally. Both games are getting developed. Both games will progress. They're clearly just going to drop H1Z1 Just Survive in a matter of months and then just focus on the shitty Battle Royale part, because apparently that's the only thing making the money, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. It's sad, because H1Z1 was fun. We had fun in it, and it had a lot of potential. And it's literally just nothing has happened over there. There's a few more new items. There's a few more like bits of terrain. There's a few more little things, but the core gameplay is still fucking janky and weird and broken. But it had a lot of promise.
Well, I think it brings up a good question. What about just the state of survival games in general? I mean, we've had nothing. I feel like they've been nothing but sob stories or fucking just I don't know, broken promises.
No, you absolutely have a point. I think though, with the Division coming up, because we talked about this earlier, that Division kind of feels like, or at least the single player, most of it actually, it feels like a polished survival game from like H1Z1, Daisy, Nether, name whatever survival game you played in the past couple of years here. It just feels like a very polished version of that. I think if the Division goes over well, then you'll start seeing more AAA companies pumping out these survival games, and there'll be a new fucking thing that indie developers will latch onto, and a new cycle of fucking gaming trend will start. But I think there's still hope for the chance of a polished, fun survival game coming out at some point. I mean, Nether got its shit together. The original developers got the game back, and they're putting up users can put up servers now and server rules. They're working on putting out modding tools. Like, hopefully Nether, Palmer, but just in case it's not, there'll probably be a AAA developer to come along at some point and fucking finally get it right. Mm-hmm. At least that's the hope, anyway. I think that's the best hope for a ideal situation for that game genre at this point.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Maybe 7 Days to Survive, Die, whatever that fucking shitty game was
God.
that everyone loves that we hate.
Why did everybody in the world praise that
We are
game?
literally the only two people in the world to not like that game.
Understand.
Literally, Palmer.
I really thought that was just going to be the
Awful.
chosen. I really thought it was going to be just the one, you know? Like, you were supposed to be the one!
Just burning in lava.
Yeah.
Screaming like a bitch.
Like all the bitches. But yeah, I guess that brings us to a close for this episode.
I think we had a fun, well-rounded episode.
Yeah. Don't forget to check the links at the bottom. You can follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. Follow us on
Twitter. Yeah, I saw where you were going. Hello to any Steam Gift people that are tuning in because of our thread or promotion over there.
Yeah, we've got a delightful group that is actually growing pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah, our Steam group is now officially open for business, and we're doing weekly giveaways on it. So if you like free Steam games, you can check out Dark Mushroom Media on Steam, or just search Dark Mushroom Media on Steam groups. You'll be able to find us and those giveaways, and we'll have links and videos and stuff you'll be able to find.
Yeah, what did we give away today?
Kicking off the group giveaways, we're doing a Cities XL Platinum, System Shock 2, and Shattered Planet.
Yeah, and
System Shock 2 is probably the only one people recognize out of those.
I don't know. Cities XL is pretty popular.
Yeah, it was, but the newer one, Skylines, is the big Cities game now. But if you have a shittier computer or something and need a Cities game to play, there you go. Head over to Steam Gifts, find us, and do all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next week, guys. I think that's a wrap for us. Take care, everybody.
Y'all have a good night now.